Have you ever just stared at a price tag and thought, how did they land on that specific number? Well, today we're pulling back the curtain and decoding the hidden logic behind the price of pretty much everything you buy. And trust me, it's way more interesting than you'd think. You see a price for your coffee, a new pair of shoes, whatever. It just looks like a number. Simple, right? But behind that one number, there is a seriously powerful engine making all these complex decisions. So come on, let's pop the hood and see how this thing actually works. Okay, so it all starts with this one core idea. Let's call it the pricing variable. The easiest way to think about it is like a single building block. It's just a simple rule that tells the system exactly what it's supposed to be calculating. Is it the main price, a special discount, sales tax? Every single piece of that final price you pay starts its life as one of these little variables.
To get a picture of how this all fits together, imagine the whole pricing system is just a really smart calculator. It's got a search strategy to find the right numbers for any situation you can think of. But the real heart of the whole operation, the most important part, is the variable itself. And that's exactly what we're going to zero in on.
Right, but here's the thing. Not all of these variables are created equal. They're actually organized into different families, and each one has a very specific job to do. This is kind of like the fundamental DNA of a price. It determines exactly what kind of price piece we're dealing with.
So, these variables are grouped into four main families. First, you've got your starting point, the base prices. Simple enough. Then you've got discounts and surcharges, which, adjust that price up or down. Of course, there are always taxes. But honestly, the most interesting one is usually totally hidden from you, internal costs. This is the secret number that a business uses to track what something costs them so they can see if they're actually making any money on the sale.
Okay, so we know what family a variable belongs to. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does it actually do the math? Every single one of these variables is programmed with a specific rule that tells it exactly how to calculate its value. And it turns out, most of the time, it just boils down to three main rules: percentage, fixed amount, and quantity. The rule that gets chosen completely changes how the final price works. Let's just quickly run through each one.
First up, the percentage. We've all seen this a million times. 10% off. It's a classic. Its value is always relative to the base price. So 10% off a $1,000 TV is obviously a very different amount of money than 10% off a $10 sandwich.
Next is the fixed amount. A $50 coupon is always, well, $50. It's a flat fee. It doesn't care if your shopping cart is worth $100 or $500. That discount value is always going to be the same.
And finally, we've got quantity-based pricing. This is the most common one for the actual base price of something, $10 per item. The total price is tied directly to how many you buy. You buy one, it's $10. You buy five, it's $50. Simple, clean, and it scales perfectly.
Okay, so those are the basics. Pretty straightforward, right? But where this whole system gets really clever is in how it handles discounts, not just for a single item, but for your entire shopping cart.
This is where a special little trick called a group condition comes into play. So, imagine there's a discount if you order over 100 kilograms of stuff. If you've got two items in your cart, one's 50 kilograms, the other 60 kilograms. On their own, neither one qualifies. But a group condition tells the system, hey, look at the total. It adds them up, sees 110 kilograms total, and boom, applies that discount to the whole order. It's a super powerful way to encourage bigger purchases.
And I've got to tell you, getting this one setting right is absolutely critical. Our source material puts it perfectly. Making a small mistake here can be a disaster. Let's say you have a $100 discount for the whole cart. If you forget to set it as a group discount, the system might apply that $100 off to every single item in the cart. That one tiny checkbox can be the difference between a smart promotion and a huge financial blunder. So let's pull the curtain back even more. Let's look at the actual blueprints, the standard variables that huge businesses are using every single day. Here are three of the heavy hitters in action. First, you have the standard gross price, which often has a code like PR00. That's the official starting number you see. Then you might have a customer discount, maybe a percentage off for being a loyal customer. And then there's the secret one, VPRS, the internal cost. This variable is just for the company, tracking what the product actually costs them to have.
Let's put that public price and the private cost right next to each other. The standard price, PR00, is totally public. It's what you pay. It's on your receipt. But that internal cost, VPRS, is completely private. It's totally invisible to you. In system speak, it's statistical, which is a fancy way of saying it doesn't actually affect your bill at all.
It only exists for the company's internal math, so they can instantly see the profit margin on every single sale they make. That is some vital business intelligence right there.
So we have all these building blocks, right? Families, rules, even secret costs. You might be wondering, why build such a complex system? And the answer, really, it all comes down to one powerful idea: flexibility. The reason for all this is that these simple, rule-based variables are basically like Lego bricks. On their own, they're simple, but you can click them together to build literally anything. A business can cook up any pricing strategy you can dream of, from a simple coupon on a website to a crazy complex global contract with all sorts of tiered discounts and surcharges. And it's all built from these same simple blocks.
So, the next time you see a price tag, you'll know it's not just a number. It's the final result of this sophisticated engine running on a set of simple but incredibly powerful rules. Now that you've had a peek behind the curtain, what hidden logic are you going to spot in the next price you see?